I cannot recollect the last time we had a conversation that didn't begin with "How was your day?" and end with "I've got an early meeting tomorrow." We still live together, still sleep in the same bed, still have dinner at the same table, still laugh at gatherings with friends, but between us there's something like a layer of fog, not cold, not easily defined, just thick enough to blur the closeness we once had. I'm 36, married for 12 years. Half of my children are tied to this man, the one who used to slip little notes into my lunchbox, who waited outside my office just to walk me home. He's still here, but he no longer looks at me the way he used to. And then Maya arrived, a young housekeeper recommended by a friend, 22, polite, quiet, so respectful I once wondered if she ever truly felt at ease working in my home. She was tidy, never complained, and was almost never present where she shouldn't be. At first, I felt comforted with her around. Every morning I left the house reassured dinner would be ready, the house would smell of fresh laundry. Maya worked in silence. She never interfered, never judged. But then I started noticing small things. Every time she passed through the room, my husband's eyes supposedly fixed on his screen would lift, not by accident, not just once. One evening, while wiping the floor beneath the sofa, I found a small cream-colored button, not from any clothing I owned. I froze, then quietly slipped it into a drawer without telling anyone, not because I was sure something had happened, but because I knew if I said it aloud, I could no longer pretend not to see it. I began watching, closely, not in suspicion, but in silence, like a sixth sense waking up in a woman who hadn't felt truly loved in years. My husband behaved the same, still polite with Maya, still nothing obvious that crossed the line, but it was the perfection that unsettled me. Everything was too careful, too smooth, as if he were trying very hard not to leave a trace. One day I came home early. The door wasn't locked. I stepped into the living room like a shadow. Laughter drifted from the kitchen. I had never heard Maya laugh like that. Not once in the 6 months she'd been with us. It was light, carefree, too familiar. No formality, no lines. I stood quietly behind the wooden partition and listened to the soft giggles, the clinking of spoons against glasses. Then I walked in, pretending I'd just arrived. Daniel flinched slightly, so did Maya, but they recovered too well. "You're home early," he said casually. I nodded. Traffic was terrible, but luckily the car turned around just in time. I glanced at Maya. "Something smells good. New recipe?" She nodded, eyes lowered. "Just trying something I saw online." I smiled, but my heart wasn't calm, because I knew this wasn't jealousy of a younger woman. It was jealousy of the liveliness my husband only seemed to carry when he was with someone else. I noticed more Daniel adjusting his shirt before he left the room, the ding of late-night messages, Maya's soft blush when handing him water, the way her gaze would quickly drop when I looked at her. But I said nothing. No confrontation, no shouting. Because when someone still loves you, you don't need proof. And when they don't, you don't need proof either. We went to dinner with friends once, like a last effort to reset something. He was still polite, still pulled out my chair, still ordered my favorite dish, but his eyes weren't on me. We laughed, but the laughter didn't reach our eyes. That night, stepping out of the bathroom, I saw a message light up on his phone. Just a string of unsaved digits. But the message was clear. "I've washed the bed sheets again, like you said. Next time I'll be more careful." Bed sheets. I had changed them the day before. My hand dropped the towel, not because I was certain, but because I no longer needed to guess. I sat at the edge of the bed, the phone still glowing, the message still there. No password, no attempt to hide it, because those who betray often believe the betrayed won't dare confront. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just felt my heart tighten, like something I'd once held with both hands had quietly slipped away. I placed the phone back where it was and walked out into the garden. Maya was there, hanging laundry. She turned when she heard me, froze. Her gaze shifted. I didn't blame her. I had been young once. I had been weak, confused, flattered by love that came from the wrong place. Maya, I said calmly. If you want time off, just tell him. With me, you don't have to say anything at all. She nodded, eyes red. No excuses, no pretending. That night, I didn't sleep beside my husband. I went into the study where I kept the old journal I used to write in when we first married. Every page full of dreams, plans, the kind of innocence I once believed could last forever. I don't blame the past. I just know it's time to start writing a new chapter. Not with someone else, with myself. The next morning, I made 2 cups of coffee. One for me, one for the man I'd called husband for 14 years. He didn't look up immediately, just stared at the cup. That same silence I once mistook for peace. Do you have something to say? I asked softly, not because I forgave him, but because I refused to become another silent person in our marriage. He didn't look up. Only after a pause did he reply, I didn't think you knew. I nodded. I knew before I was certain. I sat down. The distance between us, no more than the width of the table, felt like 2 parallel worlds. Did you ever wonder why I didn't make a scene? I asked. He didn't respond. Because I wasn't trying to teach anyone a lesson. I needed to keep one for myself. That silence is not how love works. And sometimes, to protect yourself, you have to stop sacrificing. His eyes shifted, not with guilt, but with understanding. What do you want? He asked finally. I looked at him, not angry. Clarity. I want us to stop. Not out of resentment, but because I can't live with someone who doesn't recognize the line. And I don't want our son growing up thinking patience is the same as love. His hands tightened around the cup. No arguments, no pleading. I stood up. I'll stay here until I find another place. And I hope Maya isn't the only one you feel the need to apologize to. I walked away lighter than I expected, because I knew it hurt. But this time, I chose the right person to love first myself. I left that house a month later. No tears, no drama, no turning back. Just a woman who had walked far enough to know that forgiveness doesn't always mean staying. And staying doesn't always mean love remains whole. I don't blame Maya. She was young and inexperienced, and easily swayed by attention from a place it never should have come. I don't resent Daniel, because resentment won't bring me back to myself, it only keeps me trapped in someone else's story. I write this not to share a tragedy, but to gently remind someone. Betrayal doesn't begin in the bedroom. It begins when a lingering glance isn't redirected, when a late message isn't deleted, when distance in marriage is filled with distraction instead of presence. If you're in a relationship, don't wait until someone hurts you to start listening to yourself. If you feel lonely at home, don't stay quiet thinking that makes you strong. Strength isn't patience. Strength is the courage to speak up or walk away. I don't know what lies ahead, but I do know this. I'm not afraid of loss anymore, because I found what I had lost first, my own worth. If you see a part of yourself in this story, know that you're not alone. Quiet stories like these matter. And sometimes the most powerful love story begins not with someone else, but when you come home to yourself.